Yep, the video I did not want to have to make. You know, I guess I got lucky on my first Trike. If you've seen the unboxing of the first Trike they came out with, and you could see where both my wheels were really badly damaged. And fortunately, my axle wasn't bent. But yeah, my axle's, it's bent a little bit. And I'll show you. I'd already filmed a whole bunch of stuff after tuning the wheel on this side. I went for a ride the next day and I was still getting a sound out of it. I'll show you that. And I contacted Lectric about it and they said send a video. You know, send a video looking down to the side and up through here to the frame wise. And I even took a jack stand and my pocket knife and put my knife on the jack stand and held it tight against it and rotated the wheel, and you can actually see it and hear it in that one better than you can seeing it. Other than that, everything else is fine, but when I started spinning it, let's see something here. Put it in eco mode, maybe I can show you. You can hear the whoa, 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 whoa. Hear that? Okay, now let me show you what's going on inside here. Watch the inside piece there, the gear piece. It's just not right. Something's wrong. And you can even see inside there, there's like a washer of some sort, of thin washer going up and down. You don't see it as much when you're pedaling, but it's there. And you can hear the wah, 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 wah. I'm just not happy with that. There, you can hear all that. And of course that wheel's out of balance too. Thank God I kept the box, right? You know what's funny is I got to looking at the box, and if you look right here, you can see the outline of the tire, the rear tire. So that's where it's getting hit. So yeah, I went back and forth with them emailing, never spoke with them in person, which I would rather do. I don't like email and people back and forth. I like talking with people. I feel that I get more done talking with them, and that way I can explain myself better. And they don't have to I don't have to keep going back and forth. Anyway, that's where we're at. So yes, it's now I got to take everything off. I got to take my thumb throttle off. Everything's got to come off. I've already started. They said due to all the other things that are going on here that they would replace the bike. You know, I got to box all this up, send pictures of it. They sent me a photo shoot of how to repack it. Some of the pieces I threw away, like the handlebar box, I'll make one for that. But I kept everything else, and it usually takes 10 days to get it there back to them. I don't know if I gotta, they pick it up, or I don't remember exactly. I'd have to look at that again. But at this point right now, it's getting it back inside this box and packing everything back up correctly, unplugging it properly, putting the monitor in a little box. Let me go ahead and turn it off. They said ship the battery in it. You want to make sure that you adhere the keys to the bike. That's 140 bucks if the keys don't come back with the bike. Yeah, I don't blame them there. But, you know, there it is again. A little something you should know about this, if I didn't tell you on the last video, is that these bikes are not coming from Lectric's warehouse. These bikes are coming from Anaheim, California. They are shipped in China, packed and shipped from China, placed on the ship, sailed back to Anaheim, California, picked up off the ship, put on an 18-wheeler, and sent out for delivery, which I'm sure Meet One and Moon Cool and a lot of these other companies are doing the same thing. Just the little accessory packages of what you see. Everything, like when you need a battery. Well, they have to order that. They don't have it probably sitting on the shelf. That comes from China. So that's why it takes 12, 10 days or whatever it takes to get it to you. So, I mean, I'm not cussing them. They're entrepreneurs. They're trying to make a name for themselves. And like in my first video, they had to replace so many wheels on that trike, on everyone that got them. That's how I was aware of what was going on. When I first started investigating these trikes, I looked for a heavy-duty trike that would get me out on the beach with my fishing gear and get me other places that I can't walk to anymore. So the only one I saw was HJM, I believe it's HJM, that had the heavy-duty rear end. There's only one other one that has it, and now Lectric has it and nobody else but HJM. Mooncool doesn't have it, Ad Motor doesn't have it, Meat One doesn't have it. They've got these new heavy-duty bearing setups with this is 50 millimeter, that's 40 millimeter tube. And that's why I searched it and I started joining the groups. And it wasn't until in the group that I saw a guy talking about how do I replace the axle? And that's why you saw in that one video of mine, I beat the axle out just to show everybody how to get it out. That's before I found out that they don't sell I told Lectric to send me the axle before I found this part. I said, send me the axle. No, we can't do that. They don't have them. And in my other video about that, I showed you a Craftsman lawnmower that gave me a book that showed every nut, screw, spring, everything that you could order. And if it gets out of warranty, I don't know what the company's going to do for you, but I still stand behind Lectric 100% because they're trying. Now I'm going to lose out a lot of time riding this bike. I don't know how long it's going to take to get the new one to me, or I would think that they're probably going to send me a new one instead of working on this. If they can't get the axles, I don't know what they're going to do. Pull one out of one bike. I don't know. I don't think they do that. But there it is again, you know, working. I don't know what's going on there. That seems bent. That seems like something's bent there. And no, I never put a torque wrench to this, never did any of that. This is just the way it came out of the box. Speaking of which, in my first video, I talked about how bad the packing was on this. That's why the wheels were bent. I do believe that there's probably a safety precaution that these wheels have to be put on, and the nut has to have the blue Loctite on it. Probably, or they don't want you riding this and these two back wheels fall off and you get hurt because of it. That's liability, I'm sure. But I had mentioned to them, leave the wheels in the boxes and stack them right here. And send the nut with a dab of Loctite already on them and a torque wrench. You can get a manual torque wrench. You don't need a $400 digital torque wrench for this bike. You're not going to be torquing these little bolts down to hold your little lock thing on here. I mean, you'll know by hand whether it's tight enough. And plus you would put Loctite on each and every nut everywhere you put it, just for safety. This is really a shame. This bike I wanted to get into the settings, everything, but as of right now, going back to Phoenix, Arizona, I guess, or wherever the shipping label is made out to be. And look, beautiful day out here. I'm in a t-shirt. It was cool this morning, but the winds are up because of the storm down south of us. Hope none of that gets us. This is where we're at. And thank God I saved the box. I mean, if you guys, I had it in the back of my daughter's truck when she wasn't driving. I have to keep pulling it out of there every time she has to go somewhere and put it back on the floor here. But that's the way it goes. And, you know, I feel bad. I almost was to the point where just send me a new wheel. Even tuning these wheels sometimes, if they're hit that hard, even when you return, like they sent me the two new wheels for this because they were just so beat. They got hit hard. They were out, God, I want to say 2 inches in wobble. They were like this, to where this one was only like 1 inch. It was going like that. But even so, when you're tuning it, you find those spokes and you have to go around the whole thing. The real way to do that would be to just take the tire and tube off and start fresh, and it really has to be done right. I tried to do my best with it on here. And so far, I mean, I've gone over the back ones on this, the front one on that, and it's all fine because I can feel it with that little wrench. And here we are. I guess I got to take my seat back off. Anyway, I'm really feeling bad about this happening, and I can't encourage everybody enough. If you can go somewhere Either build something to put under your trike when you get it, or get these jack stands, go to Harbor Freight, get the cheap ones. Piece of foam, pool noodles, or the ones that cover the AC lines. Set it up and spin your wheels and look at everything. And also, before you put the basket on, you can clean the brake off real good. And now that I'm finding this, I would suggest that you highly look at that too, that gear piece there. And also, the brake cable is real close to that chain. I don't know if it's like that on my other one, my original trike. No, they run it outside. They run it out. They don't run it right next to the chain. They run it outside. Actually, on my original one, they run the cable outside here, not inside. That is real close to that chain. And the chains will be real tight. I mean, I can't even move this. They're so tight. Look at that. It gets to a certain point now and it goes freely. But this point, right, you can't even push it. And it's either not lined up right or it's because of that, whatever's going on there. All right. So, thanks for watching. And keep on riding. It's going to get cooler. I was all ready for this. Here I miss out again. I miss out on a lot with the beach. The fishing's getting great, but I'm going to get the gray one out there. I haven't been even test this in the sand yet, and this is going on. All right, take care. We'll see you later.